Everyday high-speed chases race through the streets of South Carolina, pursuing justice, but at what cost? This week, WIS Investigates looks at the price of pursuit. We're investigating the true price, tax dollars spent, and lives at risk. And we look at the potential solutions to keep you safe.
Tonight, investigative reporter Cynthia Beasley brings us the first of 4 stories in the price of pursuit.
Well, Greg, Hannah, high-speed pursuits are all about weighing risks. Does the need to immediately arrest the suspect outweigh the risk of a chase? Well, in South Carolina, when to chase is left up to each law enforcement agency. And in our investigation, we found that many of the chases start from traffic violations or misdemeanors, and many chases can end with innocent people hurt or killed. I do want to warn you, some of this video is graphic. High-speed pursuits. They're one of the most dangerous things law enforcement officers do, and not just for the officer. This pursuit took a wrong turn. A Richland County Sheriff's deputy chases a suspect the wrong way on Interstate 126.
We're in the outbound, going outbound in the oncoming traffic.
At the same time,
I just headed down 26, same route I take all the time.
Pam Baker was driving to Columbia.
I saw the car coming at me. I swerved to the right, and he swerved back in front of me, and then we crashed.
After passing almost 75 cars going the wrong way, the suspect hits Baker head-on, going more than 70 miles per hour. The suspect, who law enforcement says was wanted for trafficking drugs and fentanyl, later dies. Baker miraculously survives, but wasn't unharmed.
I remember the nurse saying to me, "You don't need to feel bad, you did nothing wrong, you know, but it's hard when you know, like, you've been in a crash and someone else has lost their life."
The crash happened on December 29th, 2023. But we found chases happen at least once a day on average in Richland County. This was just 5 months earlier. A Richland County deputy chases a car full of teenagers. Before this video, the 17-year-old driver sped off from a traffic stop after a trooper wrote him a speeding ticket. This Richland County deputy spots the car and starts chasing.
28 to be uniform, Juliet, next grade.
After less than 4 minutes,
1050, roll over.
6 teens end up in a pond.
We got one unaccounted for in the water, has now resurfaced.
Deputies searched the water and pulled some of them to safety, but one passenger never made it out.
Did you find it?
Teams found 16-year-old Brandon Nunez's body in the pond the next day.
Is there anything else that you would want to say to the family of the child who died or the other children in the car who had to go through that as well?
I'm sorry that they made that decision. I'm sorry that they were in a vehicle with someone who failed to stop. I'm sorry we couldn't save his life. I wish we could have done more. My deputies who think about that every single day.
Richland County Sheriff Leon Lott defends his deputy's decision to chase the teenagers. They arrested the driver for several charges, including evading police and felony DUI resulting in death.
So had the information, address, all of that. Is that a case where instead of chasing, maybe deputies could have gone to his house or tried to find him in another manner?
There's a lot of maybes. It's easy to sit back and Monday morning quarterback the decisions that these deputies have to make in the spur of a moment. And they fall back on their training, they fall back on our policy.
Sheriff Lott says his deputies followed department policy in both pursuits.
Your policy says, as a general rule, deputies should not pursue a vehicle driving the wrong direction. So what was the difference in this case?
He needed to be caught. He determined he was going to go down the wrong way. If we had not chased him and just let him go, and then the next day somebody dies from an overdose of drugs that he put on the street, that comes back on us.
If citizens want to know about pursuits in Richland County, they won't find much online. The department doesn't publish information on why deputies are chasing or how the chases end. You will find how many pursuits happened in 2023.
When the public sees that and they see, okay, 448 vehicle pursuits in 2023, that's at least one a day.
That's an indicator of how people attitude is that they won't stop. Criminals are going to do everything they can get away. Our job, and what I think the citizens of Richland County want us to do, is to protect them, and that is catch criminals when they break the law.
When that data isn't public on how many pursuits are ending in arrest and what the arrests are for, how can the public have a clear picture of why you say it's important to pursue as often as you do?
I think the people trust us. I think the people trust me as the sheriff that we're going to make decisions that are going to protect them. That's what elections are for.
I requested data about Richland County pursuits. Last year, 85 ended in a crash. Pursuits ended in death or injury 7 times for deputies and 63 times for suspects. But when it comes to civilians or innocent bystanders injured or killed, department officials say they don't track that.
What are you chasing people for a majority of the time?
People who break the law.
Most of the time, those people are accused of misdemeanor offenses. Department data shows last year, deputies chased someone for a misdemeanor 372 times. For a felony, 9 times. What leads an officer to chase varies from agency to agency. There's no statewide policy for pursuits. For example, the Richland County Sheriff's Department has a broad policy. It says deputies can chase someone for a felony or misdemeanor that would require an arrest. But in Columbia, police department policy says officers should only chase people suspected of violent crimes. Some policies are even more defined. In the Charleston Police Department, officers can only chase suspects if they're believed to have committed certain violent crimes, including murder, rape, or kidnapping. Charleston's policy was used as an example in a report from the federal government calling on agencies to reduce high-speed pursuits. Their police chief says this policy helps his officers.
It gives them guidance, so it really helps them as far as, taking some of the play out of it, So they know exactly what we are looking for as far as expectations from not only the agency, but the community.
In 2023, his department only initiated 6 pursuits.
And we can't leave it up to each law enforcement agency.
Richland County Senator Darrell Jackson is introducing legislation that would call on SLED and law enforcement experts to make a statewide standard and policy for police chases.
I'm a big supporter of law enforcement, but here's what I would say. Do you kill an innocent person in pursuit of someone who is bad?
Something Baker agrees with.
And maybe it will save lives and save someone else from having to go through what I have.
Now, in the crash, Baker fractured multiple parts of her spine, her ankle, and her leg. She's gone through multiple surgeries and will likely need more. She's also filed a lawsuit against the department and Sheriff Leon Lott.
Yeah, amazing that she survived.
Yes.
And you're reading through that lawsuit. Baker's attorney that police officers in this state don't get adequate training when it comes to some of these pursuits. You looked at that as well. So what sort of training's in the works?
So I found the South Carolina Criminal Justice Academy doesn't even do pursuit-specific training, and they say that's because agencies each have different pursuit policies. Several agencies, including Richland County and Charleston, do extra pursuit training, but it's not mandated under state law that they do it. So tomorrow at 6, we'll take you to the track at the Criminal Justice Academy. You'll hear from the director there, as well as an expert in pursuits who was a part of that federal report urging law enforcement agencies to cut down on high-speed chases. In the meantime, you can read more of our investigation on our website, wistv.com.
All right.